Okay, today we're going to do a review of this Yardworks garden shredder. It's electric. It looks like it's got a 15 amp motor, and its cutting capacity is 1.5 inches, it says here. And the speed of the old blades there is 3,700 RPMs. I wanted to buy a shredder, but I didn't want to buy a too expensive one. This one was about $300, and actually a little under $300. And I figure, well, I have this yard here I gotta clean up. It's a little windy, people, so I hope there's not too much wind, and I'm by an airport. I chopped all that down last week, and I figure I'm gonna try and shred most of it in this machine right here, because I figured that if I was to, I don't want to do it really, but if I was to hire someone, it'll probably cost me close to $300 to probably get all this stuff done, plus the stuff that's on the fence right over here as well too. So, getting back to the garden shredder here, let's turn it around. It says here it's got a push stick to help. Reversible twin blades, okay, and a mobile stand. So we're going to open it up, and we're going to see what this can do, and if it can help me with this yard of mess I have here. So let's get ready. We have some wheels, wheel covers. Sorry about the aircraft's going over, but I'm by an airport. And let's flop this open. And this here is where the wheels would go on. And when it's turned upside down, the bin will slide in. Okay, so I'm gonna put this together and then let you see, so you don't have to see me struggle getting this stuff out of a box. Okay, let's get it together. Okay, so let me give you a closer look at the parts. Wheels, you got two. And you get the posts, right, for the wheels. You also get a little tool for tightening, and some nice hubcaps. Okay, I put it, whoop, there goes another plane. I put it on top of the box to let you see. This was like this when it came out of the box, and it had bubble wrap on it. The bubble wrap, I have it in the little bin here, all the garbage. And this was like this as well too. This black piece right here, it keeps it stable. Now what's going to happen is this right here, this post will go in these little holes right here, and I'll tighten it down. I'll show you that. And then the wheels go on. Okay, on here you have a push paddle, which is this. Okay, that's your little push paddle, so you don't stick your hand in there. This here is the cord. Okay, a circuit breaker right here, so if somehow the power goes off, or I believe if it jams or something like that, the circuit breaker will automatically shut off. Once you get everything all cleaned up and unjammed, or if the power comes back on, you just press this and you're good to go again. This here is a knob that opens the top. So if there is a jam up in here, okay, you unscrew this. Of course, you take the power off, and you clean up the jam, make sure you don't touch the blades, and then you close it back. This will only power on again when this is on and tightened in, okay? When the top part is connected to the bottom part. And that's the overall view there. So I'm just gonna finish putting it together, and before this plane flies over again and drowns out my volume. Okay, for the wheel assembly, wheel cover, wheel, bolt, washer, and bushing, okay? So basically what you'll be doing on the outside here, this will be all in the outside. You put the washer and run this through, and then you run that through. That goes into the wheel, okay? And then you tighten it up with this, okay? And then you slap a wheel cover on. The wheel cover has 3 points of entry, and you would snap that on, and that's how you do the wheel. So I'll let you see once again there. Wheel cover, the bolt, it's all on the outside, okay? You see the washer there, and you see the bushing right in there, okay? So I hope it's easy. I'll probably making it too complicated for you, but that's how the wheels will go on. I'm going to slap everything together and then get ready to start this experiment. Okay, so this is it all put together. Right here is where the basket is for your collection. Okay, this is a switch here, so you can pull this in and out. Okay, there's a locking mechanism right here, right there. Okay, I didn't put the wheel covers on yet because whenever I have something new, I don't put it fully together in case I have to take it apart and take it back. So they're easy to put on, just snap them on, but I haven't put the wheel covers on yet. This here is your push stick, and of course the cord right here. Okay, this is it right here. Okay, and it's this setup here, so you have to have a extension cord that suits this. Okay, this little protection thing here, you're not going to be able to stick it in a wall. Okay, you're not going to be able to stick it in a wall. Okay, and you've also got a tightening tool here, you know, for tightening the nut here. See the wheel setup right there on the outside. Okay, so I want to snip this apart, put it in the ground, and we're going to start in some of the bush there and see how well this performs. If I can get all or most of this done today, I'd be very happy. And as I said, we'll see how this works out. Because I might use this like maybe twice a year, and that's plenty. And I'll get it set up for the first mulch or munch. Okay. Okay, before we start, I want to mention that when you use any power tool that's electric, you should always get a minimum of 12 gauge. You can get away with 14 gauge, but the reason you want 12 gauge, on the box it'll tell you, like I believe it said 3700 RPMs, and it gives you all the specs, but to get that you have to have the power. Okay, so the longer the cable and the less gauge, you don't get as much power. So a lot of people who have electrical tools and they say, oh no, it's not enough power, it's not working right, a lot of times it's just the extension cord that is not powerful enough to handle the motor and give enough power and juice to the motor. Okay, so that's my suggestion. Now this is a 25 foot extension cord that I have, and if you were to get something, for example, if you have a long yard and you have to use maybe 50 to 100 feet of extension cord, go down to 10 gauge, because the power won't reach it. By the time it goes from the socket all the way to the end, you've lost power, and the power tool is not going to work to capacity. So just a suggestion, try and get a 12 gauge cord so you can have all the power you need, spec'd on the box. Okay. I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's right here. I'm not going to do it now until I put a few branches in there. But if you ever get a jam up, you would turn this knob here and push this back, okay? And you'll be able to, of course, you have to unplug it. Make sure you always take the power off, and you'll be able to, you know, pull whatever it is that's in there that's jamming things up, okay? So we're almost there. We're almost ready to get the first branches in. I just thought I'd mention a few things, and again, your on and off switch is right here, okay? And let's get ready. Okay, there's the setup. I'm all plugged in, and it takes 1.5 inches, people, which goes in right in here, okay? So anything more than 1.5 inches is not going to fit in the slot, okay? That's the setup. 12 gauge cord, okay? On and off switch right here. I'm just waiting for that plane to go by so you can hear the real what it really sounds like, okay? And always use eye protection. Some say you should have also hearing protection, but if you're going to be out here for hours, yeah, use the hearing protection. But this is what it sounds like. I'm pushing the button in. So I'm going to set up, get some branches ready, and we're going to start seeing how well this performs. And hopefully it works out, because as I said, I got a lot of yard work, a lot of stuff that has to come down. I want this yard only grass within a couple of weeks or so. And I'm sick and tired of trees growing as fast as they do. You know, a little rainfall and you got a tree already, you know what I mean? So if this thing here can give me some use a couple of times, maybe 3 times a year, I'm happy with that, because I'm sick and tired of cutting down trees. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start. When you put the machine on, let it get up to full revs before you put anything in, okay? Don't just start it and then start ramming stuff in there, okay? Let it get to maximum spin before you put anything in. Also, the slot that's here, the wood shouldn't have too many offshoots off it, because it won't fit. You have to cut those, okay? So let's try this out and see what's going on. So, I have a lot of wood to shred, a lot of branches to break down. I'm not going to bore you with that, so I'm going to get it all done, and I'll show you the results after. But it's going to take some time, because as I said, a lot of the branches have offshoots, so I got to cut them off to make it straight so they go right in there. But it seems to have done a pretty good job. Again, let the aircraft go by. Always make sure it's revving at full speed, then put it in, okay? So once again, let me show you what I'm working with here. These are all the branches I cut down. I have to get rid of. Okay, as you can see, a lot of them have offshoots, branches offshooting from the main branch. So I got to cut them off, and I also got to get the stuff off the fence as well too. So it might take me a couple of weekends, but it's going to save me a lot of work if I had to like tie all the stuff and stick it in the front yard. And that's a nasty tree right over there that caused all this. Grew into the fence. I got to get that off the fence as well too. Some of these branches here are a little bigger than 1.5 inch, so I can't do that. I'll have to break out the chainsaw or whatever, but I'll get rid of it. But this yard, I want this yard absolutely only grass. I've had enough for trees and all this. This is like a summer and a half, and look at all the growth because I dropped the ball and I didn't cut it all down. Anyways, that's my setup over there. That's the machine, and let's hope that baby does the job. Okay, so this is about an hour and a half later. Okay, I've done some serious work here. This whole area here was full of branches and stuff. That's almost cleared off. This stuff here, I'm gonna have to get the chainsaw and break them down. That's too big for the shredder. So let me tell you a bit about this. These branches here, these are the type you'd have to cut down. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna throw them out. I'm gonna wrap them and throw them out. But the machine will, the shredder will take it, but I have to cut each branch into smaller branches, and I don't feel like doing that. Okay, here's some stuff that has to go in. Regarding the bucket, I've done about 3 buckets already. Okay, so this stuff fills up pretty quick. The machine's quite efficient for what for the price. Not bad. Now, one thing about the bucket when it fills up, you have to be careful because I keep looking to make sure that it's not right to the top. So in other words, it has no space for any more chips, and that will set the breaker off if you don't watch it. It hasn't happened to me yet, but I can see why they have that breaker there, because if the bucket gets filled and there's no way for the chips to get in, and you keep putting more branches in, it could ruin the motor. So that's what that's a good idea, having that breaker. But watch out, make sure that the bucket is what the level, if it's full or not. Okay, and empty it. Now, in regards to leaves, I was taking a whole bunch of those leaves right over there. I got a whole bunch. How it reacts with leaves is when you put the leaves in here, they don't all go down to the blade, so you have to use this push stick. Now, even with the push stick, the leaves just what I suggest, and this works fine, when you're working with the leaves, if you put some leaves in or some branches that are green and wet, put some dry ones right after it, and it takes care of business. Okay, so again, if you're putting leaves in, it's not going to gum it up, but it's just not going to go through as fast. So leaf dry. Even the opposite, sometimes you get you put a whole bunch of dry stuff in there, and it's best to put a few leaves in there. It kind of lubes the blade if you can understand what I'm trying to say. So the leaves and the branches actually help each other. So if you put too much of one, put a little bit of the other, so far. Okay, so this is what's going to happen here. I want to give it a little bit more time to clean a bit more of this up here, and to give you a last update. I'm probably going to make a part 2 of this because I don't think I'm going to be finishing all this today. I got better things to do than do yard work for the whole day. You know what I mean? So I'm going to continue on, and let's just see what the results are from today. But I'll do a part 2. Okay, so there's the bucket that's almost full there, and this little area is cleaned up, and that area is cleaned up. Okay, it took me about 2.5 hours, but that's a lot of trimming of the branches, so that it'll fit in the little hole at the top there. So I still have that. I gotta get rid of all that crap on the trees there, of the fence, sorry. And I'm gonna make a part 2 of this. So please like and subscribe, and I'll make more of these videos when I get a chance. Part 2 of this is coming, of this yard cleanup, as I said before. I don't make any money at this, so if you can please like or subscribe, or just write a comment, let the algorithm of the YouTube know that I exist. That's all I ask. So I'll bring you the update, and let you see how this yard takes shape. Well, this is what happens when you let your trees and bushes get out of hand. You end up having to buy one of these things. But right now I'm happy with it. So that's the Yardworks shredder. Thanks for watching.